Hello and welcome to Robot VARNAC restoration number 1. This is a restoration of an old dinner bell that my grandma had on her farm. She has had a farm just outside of Independance, Iowa. It's just east of Waterloo and Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And this bell was hanging outside her home for her farmhouse many years. I remember going there as a little kid and hearing this bell, and she'd ring the bell for dinner. So now it's time to bring this bell into like new condition. So you can see how it's old and weathered. So let's go into the shop and make this bell look like new. The things you'll need is a wire wheel and a buffing pads to make this thing like new. So let's go in the shop and get started. And this is a motor with a wire wheel. So when you're using this kind of machine, you want to wear gloves and face protection because the little metal bristles could fly out of the wire wheel. Okay, now you can see that the rust and discoloration has been removed, but I want to keep the original patina, so now I'm going to polish it up more on the buffing wheels. So let's go to the buffing machine. And this is the buffing wheel that will be used to polish the bell. You'll notice there's 3 buffing heads here, so this is coarse, medium, and fine. So we'll put some wax buffing compound on the coarse wheel. Let the buffing wheels do the work, so the buffing wheel will polish the metal. Don't press too hard or it'll stop like that and you won't have any buffing action. Remember, I want to keep the original patina, so I want to keep it this color so you could see how it looks to be with the old patina but shiny. After it's buffed and polished, a clear coat of lacquer will be put on to keep the shine. Used fine So before you use the buffing wheel, you put the wax on there, the buffing compound. You might notice I skipped the thing, but I want to keep the patina, so I'm going to put the clear coat on after this. Because I want to keep the patina. Because it's old. It's an old bell. It's on my grandma's house. I want to keep it the way I remember seeing it years ago. Because it's old. Now it's time for the clear coating. Now before you can paint the bell, you need to remove the wax from the buffing wheels, because the wax will interfere with the lacquer adhering to the metal, so you want to get the wax off the bell. Clean all the wax off. Remember, I want to keep the old patina of the bell as I remember it. Some people would say, oh, it has to look like brand new, like a polished brass on a fire engine kind of thing, but I want it the original old patina, the way it looked years ago. You're painting and lacquering the bell, you need to know where you're going to hang them out to dry. You can't just leave them sit there. You want to hang them up in the air, so you figure out how are you going to hang the bell. So when the bell is drying, it'll be on a hook, and the wall bracket will be on a hook hanging to dry with the paint, as well as the clapper mechanism. So you can hang the clapper mechanism after it's lacquered too. And to save time, you put the washer and the cap nut on the clapper assembly, so when you spray the lacquer, you can do both at the same time and hang it up to dry, so all the parts will be drying. So let's start by lacquering the bell. Make sure your clear lacquer is well stirred and ready to use. You want to use too much, you want it to run, so you want to be very careful putting it on there. You can always come back and put a second coat on later. And take it out and hang it up to dry. Another time-saving tip is to actually hold the assembly above the spray paint as you're painting it, so you get everything in one take, so like professional painters would do. So now the clapper and all the clapping parts are, and the cap nut is all clear coated. And be very careful with your paper. If you're using oil-based paint, this is very flammable. It might be good for kindling in a stove, but be careful if you flash over and burn pretty fast. don't want to hold on to it any longer, you don't want to get the paint on your hands, it's a good idea to use gloves if you're allergic or don't want to cover your hands with oil-based paint. And the oil-based paint will take about 24 hours to dry. Now when you're ready at the tip of the thing there, you put it on your hook and you finish painting so you don't get your fingers covered with paint. And the whole thing will be nicely covered with paint, just like an industrial paint shop would do. Make sure there's no runs, make the work look professional. You want it to look nice, not sloppy and cheap. Other family members will be glad to see this. It'll remind them of days gone by at Grandma's house when they see it all restored. It might be a good idea for you to find an old family heirloom and restore it for like a family reunion to surprise your folks. Everyone likes a trip down memory lane now and then. And you can see it's nicely painted, and this will be hung up to dry. Okay, now it's been 24 hours and the lacquer on the bell has dried and the paint on the mounting bracket has dried. So we're ready to assemble the bell. But before you assemble the bell, you want to make a template to mount the bell on your wall. So get a piece of old cardboard, such as a piece of an old cereal box, and make your template. Doesn't have to be very fancy. And put the bell like it would be on the wall, so you have a good idea of how large it'll be fitting on the wall. Now you'll notice the two points for the holes to be drilled into the wall. So you want to line up and make a line to level it off on your wall. So you'll use this line as your reference when you're hanging on the wall, so you want to make it level. You don't want the bell to be crooked on the wall, you want the bell to sit straight on the wall so it looks like a nice professional job and not the work of a rank amateur. Also, when you're painting the parts, you want to include the mounting screws, so the mounting screws will match the bracket so it looks neater. You don't want to use chrome plated screws on a painted thing, and now it'll look more authentic and original. So now the wall template is ready, we can go ahead and assemble the bell. Of course, most people would put the bracket on the wall first, so we'll assume that you also put the bracket on the wall. But before you put the clapper in place, there's a little hole here to put some cord on there. So depending how high up on the wall you want to put the clapper, put the bell, you want to have the cord long enough so it'll be reached. A good suggestion is to keep the cord out of the reach of young children who might spend hours and hours pulling the cord and driving you crazy. So be careful how and where you put the cord on. And when people see a bell to be make noise with, chances are they'll pull it. So you want to put a good tight nut on there. A good suggestion is to put some glue on here so the knot won't become undone. Also at the end of the cord, you might want to put like a finial or pull, some kind of knob, so you have a neat way to ring the bell instead of just a length of cord. So now you take the bell, put the clapper in place with the cord attached, and put the cap nut and washer in place. Now when you're putting the bell on, chances are you'll probably have the clapper in the back of the bell, so the cord will hang neatly at the front of the bell, so compared to the bracket. So tighten the cord so the clapper will line up with the front. So now the bell is ready to be used. Of course, you would have mounted it on the wall first, because it's hard to get to the screws for the wall plate with the bell in place. So put the mounting bracket on first and then the bell. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching another Robot VARNAC video, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a crazy, never know what to expect Robot VARNAC video next week. See you next week with another unexpected Robot VARNAC video. Goodbye for now.